All right, Donnacha Ryan, you're very welcome back. How are you?
Yep, great, thank you.
You're not home for long?
Just today, and hopefully back on Friday to watch Ireland England on Saturday.
Yeah, that's the big one. You're here with thanks to Bord Bia, as we can see on your polo shirt there, and the Chicken Make It Your Way campaign. I presume you eat a lot of chicken.
I do, yeah, I do. I eat a lot of chicken. I think I've eaten maybe about a minimum of 20 to 30 grams of protein in a meal. So for breakfast, lunch, and for dinner, I suppose like in a normal diet, you probably wouldn't eat that much protein in the morning. So I'd mix it up with either eggs, but sometimes I'd have shredded chicken from the day before, or I'd have put a crock pot on during the week, and it does me for snacking during the week as well. And trying to create menus as well. It's great to Bord Bia. The quality short sign as well, they're getting on board, and it's great to be partnered with them. But I'm always looking for recipes as well. I've got a nice chicken goujon recipe now. It takes maybe 10-15 minutes to put together. So
go on, give it to us.
I'll give it to you. So basically, you can smash up your chicken, fill it, flatten it as much as you can, and then I cover with clean film as well, and get a rolling pin and flatten it out. Get an egg and some 4 slices of brown bread. You can get your NutriBullet or whatever to blend it up, and then get some olive oil and smear it all into a bowl really, and salt and pepper, olive oil, egg, and then with your strips, then you put it on the oven at 240 degrees for 10 minutes, and it's a nice little snack as well. So if you're ever stuck for something nice and healthy, that's a good way to go. And
you'd give the seal of approval yourself?
Yeah, I have at least once every couple of weeks. Yeah, so just as a kind of a treat as well. But yeah, things like chicken noodle soup as well, all that kind of stuff. Because it's fantastic for us. Protein-wise, it's great, no carbs, and it's very, very little fat in it as well. So it's basically perfect for us, and it obviously carries a lot more nutrients as well. So trying to get lean as well. It's a struggle when you get older, but it's good.
Is it something that you always do yourself? Are you a big fan of cooking?
Before in college, I just wouldn't have had the time to invest in, but that's why those crock pots are great. You can just put a chicken breast, or you can cut them up, or even a whole full chicken into a pot, leave it there for 8 hours, and it's really supper when you take it like 8 hours later on, it's already coming home from a day's training. Like I would have started training in college maybe at 6:30, 7 in the morning, and then you're gone all day, and then it's nice to come home to have a meal after you finish your studies and you've trained again that afternoon. So would have. Obviously, big part of being a professional is the fuel you actually put into your body, and for me, it was just the best sort of nutrients I could get into my body. So I do cook a lot, and yes, I suppose it's sometimes you're trying to break up the monotony of the boiled chicken pre-match meal that we get, and especially I'll be having boiled chicken and pasta, which is very, very boring. But it's plain eating for a day of the game. But during the week, it's a good time to experiment.
Yeah, I suppose when you move to France as well, you got to up your cuisine game a small bit.
You do. Yeah, they've. I wouldn't have been big into bread before. So whereas when you see the queue out the door for bread, it's incredible, people queuing for bread. So yeah,
it's a snowstorm in Ireland.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah, and yeah, it's great. It's great to go every day now. I've gone to routine of just getting a baguette. So it's probably my best used phrase in French at this stage now. So I'm very good at saying it. But it's class. And I suppose other French dishes. I would be. When I went over there initially, I just tried to expose myself as much of the French culture as possible. So I tried escargots and or frog's legs, and then I basically tried this local French a chef in Nice recommended. I told him I was over playing rugby, and in France, and he said, "Oh, you must try new dishes," and he recommended andouillette, which is a sausage. French delicacy, so an andouillette, so he brought it out, and basically it tasted like crap. So it wasn't very, very bad, but he kept coming back over to see what it was. Do you like it? And it's like, yeah, it's great. And it was like, Jesus, he said, "What's my mother's recipe?" It tastes like maybe your mother's toenail clippings or something. It was awful. But so I did a good enough job trying to hide it under the chair, and threw a few into a napkin and put it in my pocket, and threw it into the bin. But so anything to not save your man's so save a bit of blushes. But no, it's great. You kind of over France, you kind of finally learn how to eat a croissant without covering yourself full of crumbs. So you kind of learned those skills, which is basically just don't buy croissants. So
So that's the key.
That's the key. Yeah. So yeah. Otherwise, you're on the road to ruin.
It sounds like you're well equipped then to stay in France forever.
The language is still working on the English to get right for the French. So now French is getting a bit better slowly. But yeah, I really like France. Paris has been fantastic. Really enjoyed the experience. Lots of stuff to do, and it's really cool in Racing at the moment as well with the players we have, the people that are there, and it's just enjoying it. It's actually really great experience to be able to do.
Yeah, because there is such a mix of cultures in that Racing team as well at the moment. So you're all kind of in there and you're all getting to know this alien city at the same time.
That's exactly, because rugby isn't that big in the north of France. So you have a lot of guys who are coming from all around France, and they don't really have your family or cousins or guys you went to school with social structure behind you, like, as you would have in Munster, Connacht or Leinster and Ulster. So the guys really do gel together an awful lot more, and then obviously the wives and girlfriends do as well, and with all the kids, which is great. So it does create a good family culture in the club. And to be fair, the president and all the staff that are in Racing, they do their best to try and create that culture by doing events together as well. And even though as players we train, we're with each other maybe 6 days a week, so it is pretty full on. But it's as I say, it's an enjoyable experience.
Is there any player that you're particularly friendly with? Obviously, Simon would be the obvious one to say.
Trying to stay away from him. He's in my friend. We have French class now on Mondays and Wednesdays, so he's himself, myself, and Pat Lambie are in the honours class. But since Simon's come along,
who's the star pupil?
Simon is, because his dad is French, so he understands a lot more words than I would. But but it's great to have, because he's great. It's great having him there as well, and he's great having him on the pitch as well. So it's good. I know, we'd want him off to be good crack. Bernard Leroux is a great guy. He's been wrestling for a number of years. Henri Chavancy, Wayne Laurent, and Teddy Ibrahim, the 9 as well, the small 9. We all get on really, really well. So it's not like in Ireland, as I said, in before the Munster and Leinster and Connacht and Ulster, you'd have maybe 4 or 5 nicknames, and none of them would be complimentary at all. So, but over there, it's you don't really have that as much. But to be fair, everyone is looking out for each other, which is great, because everyone's going through the same sort of issues as well. So that's a good thing to have.
Yeah, it's interesting that the timing that you went over and the timing that Simon went over, and Simon's obviously been speaking about it this week because he's been mentioned in an Ireland context, and it is Six Nations Week, and he's saying that I don't think it would have been as blunt and cold as it has been in terms of his shutout from the Ireland team. Obviously, kind of he was. He had a few less caps. He was a bit younger going over and stuff like that, so maybe he expected it to be a little less of a shutout than it has been for him. Did you ever get that sense from him that he was kind of a little bit disappointed that it was blunt and cold in the way he was shut out from Ireland?
To be honest, I weirdly enough, I really haven't sat down and talked with him at all about it, that kind of stuff. Because he's always an optimistic guy anyway. So I really haven't really talked to him about it. All I kind of saying, look, you're really going to love this experience. Just watch, because he was talking about when he was talking about wanting to come to France and just sample something new. I said, look, you can. Yeah, there's a load of other nice clubs out there, but I said, look, to be fair, you're coming to Paris. Like, if you have an offer of a club from Paris, it's such a fantastic experience to have, and there's so much that goes on there as well. And that was pretty much it. And then just ever since then, really, we've you're just trying to figure out, okay, well, we've a day off on Thursday, a rarity, but what are you going to do? Where are we going to go? What are you going to do? Or what restaurant are you going to go to? And that's like, you're literally, it's hilarious because you're trying to basically like take contacts from chefs, because pass them on to each other so we can get bookings into places. But which is great, because just that's what it's about. It's just like, just as I said, you're in one of the best cities in the world, like, you know, and we're so fortunate. And I think he's just making the most of playing there. And I'd say, look, he's a man that kind of goes day by day, and he's always very positive. Like the club love him, like, you know, they really do. They're mad, and all the supporters love him as well. And look, as something else happens down the line, I'm sure he'll adapt to it, and there's no fear of him anyway. But yeah.
We should talk about Ireland-England, of course, kicking off the Six Nations this Saturday afternoon. From your own perspective, it must be interesting looking at the likes of James Ryan and Devon Toner leading the way. Obviously, in terms of the depth chart of second row, it would have been interesting to see how the likes of Tadhg Byrne and Ian Henderson would have performed. Are you concerned at all by the injuries in that second row at the moment, or do you think that it's in the more than capable hands of Quinn Roux should an injury happen?
Yeah, so I think Joe was really trying to look for a line-out caller to replace Dev in case if he got injured. Like Dev is, you know, you look at the quality. You mentioned the quality second rows that are there, but and I read an interview before about Devon that he had a unique set of skills. He was kind of joking about the taking thing, but he actually. Yeah, he's right. Like, he's got experience of calling lineouts under pressure. Like, and he admitted himself he's had bad days as well, and he's learned from that. And that's the frustrating thing, I'd imagine, for Simon Easterby and Joe, that they'd love to get the other guys, James Ryan, I know he's called a couple of times, and Ian Henderson, more experience to call lineouts at that level. Like, and I know Hendy had got it in. A bit in the November series, was a bit frustrating against Argentina as well, but it's just that platform is pivotal for Joe to launch his attack off, and no better example than the Jacob Stockdale try. So you don't win that line-up ball, or you don't have the line-outs done earlier on in the game that maybe Dev would have had to put together, then you don't do so well. And it's just, you know, getting those experience for those line-out callers, because you are trying to, if you are an athlete that is performing, you can just concentrate on just running around the pitch and just hitting rucks, carrying ball, making tackles. There's no other science to it than that. But if you're having to do the strategy game as well, which Devon is familiar with, you're having to, you know, so if you have a bad day at the line, it's kind of might take away from your own game as well. And then when you're dipping into the thought process of, oh God, what am I going to do next? Which takes away from the aggressive element of your game, and that's the frustrating thing of sometimes being a line-out caller as well, because, you know, you kind of just wish you could just go out and play and not have any to worry about anything else. But at the same time, it's a pivotal part of the game to make the guys around you look better, make the hooker look better and stuff. And I think, you know, yeah, Quinn Roux is doing a lot of he's calling lineouts over in Connacht, so he's getting good exposure to this. I think they're doing kind of the same similar systems that Ireland are doing, so it's good that Tadhg Byrne is doing the same system for Munster than he's at Ireland. No, he's had some good days. They're doing some good things there as well. He's got two very good hookers, and Niall Scanlon and Reece Marshall as well. But like it is important, because to have that depth, it's one thing we have fantastic second rows. There's the depth. Even Ultan Delan now, he's an incredible player. But as I said, it's just that technical element of calling lineouts, and guys just literally having to sit down, have the discipline to literally look at videos upon videos sometimes and just understand scenarios and have a plan put in place.
How long will it take for James Ryan to become that top class line-out caller?
Oh, you'd love it was, you know, if we're over the Six Nations, it'd be great, but unfortunately, like, you know, it just takes time. The more games you do, the more scenarios you do, and then the relationships you've got to build with the guys around you and your hooker, because basically you're there to facilitate him and make him feel comfortable as well, and just to build that relationships. And that's when you look at Paul O'Connell was the best at doing that. He just knew the limitations of hookers, and he knew what the capabilities of them, and between getting to know the person and sitting down and investing time, and some days it didn't go right as well, and he'd be the first to say it. He had a few bad days against Scotland, but he learned a lot from those days, and you learn more from those bad days than you do from winning. So yeah, like, hopefully sooner rather than later.
If you're looking at England this weekend, where can they hurt us in that area, in the line out, in the second row, maybe at the breakdown as well?
Yeah, so we so for instance, there's an example. Well, we played 2 years ago. When we played Ireland or played England here, we did a good day. We did a pretty okay day at the line-out that day, and Peter had a great day cleaning up on their line-out. And that was you could see Mario Toja was doing the calls that he's been given from the coach, but there's a massive element of player ownership as well, to own the analysis that you're doing, rather than getting the menu and just doing what you're told. So then you can kind of read scenarios on the pitch. So yeah, this week Mario Toja, unbelievably athletic guy. Courtney Laws, he's put on a bit of timber as well. We've got, I know Billy Vunipola wouldn't be the key jumper ever to lift, but and you got obviously a toss-up with George Cruz and Joe Launchbury now. Joe Launchbury now has come back in from injury, so, and he had an okay game, I suppose, against Leinster for Wasps, but yeah, I think the way Saracens are going, they're leading Europe, and they're close top of the table in the Viva, and I'm sure they're probably going to go more Sarries boys, and as a unit, their familiarity of how they operate is probably better, so they would hope to put a bit of pressure on, but I think Devon is experienced enough with Simon Easterby as well, and obviously Bestie, he knows Bestie at this stage of how he throws and how he operates as well. So I'd hope the lads with Peter as well, there'd be not much of an issue, I think.
You mentioned Courtney Laws' extra timber there. How many chicken fillets will that take to actually put on that amount of muscle?
I'd say a significant amount, because it just takes a long time to put on muscle, easier to put on fat. It's just basically it just takes time, but like he's a serious athlete, and it'd be interesting to see whether they play him 6, because, or I told you 6, because I think because Ireland's breakdown is so good, if opposition teams start picking back row players that just contest heavily at the breakdown, it might disrupt Ireland, I think. But I don't. There's not many English players in the team that I think we can combat the Irish breakdown.
Can you see an upset happening this Saturday? Can you see Ireland getting beaten?
I imagine Joe would be putting that scenario of the last time they played England was in Twickenham and lifting the Grand Slam, and obviously Joe is fantastic at putting a scenario in play where to challenge to channel the focus of the players. Like he knows he has the system. It's just to get the mindset right, to get the focus right and the concentration, and because once Ireland can do that, and you can see what they did against New Zealand, is that you just saw a real measured performance. Just even some of the plays that weren't probably on some of the plays, but they literally, just the players themselves made them work as well, because they were so focused. And Joe, I think he's a seasoned pro at this stage, kind of been used by the way Eddie Jones and his coaching staff are coming out and talking to the media. I don't know, they're trying to just ruffle feathers for whatever. It's kind of a bit desperate, I suppose, if they're doing that sort of stuff, because they should be really focusing on how their own house is in order, I think. But
it seems we've got into their heads a small bit.
I suppose the way it comes across in the media, maybe. I think the defence coach Mitchell was talking about Ireland being boring, but should look, if Ireland pumped them the weekend, which they're well capable of doing, like he'll have a very unboring review on the Monday, Tuesday. So, but I think Ireland at the moment, they're so, you can see Rob Kearney, he'll be probably coming back in because he's tried and trusted. He knows the system. Joe knows that he knows the system and he's trustworthy there. So, and any guys that I think would have been a hindrance. What would have been a hindrance for Ireland before was starting the Six Nations, was that level of how organised the players were from coming back, just getting together. And as the Six Nations grew, you could see the Irish team getting better because the more time they were able to spend together. And I think that's why he'll hook to stick to the guys he's used to, because they know how the systems and the plays that Joe wants them to do will be able to be more efficient in Portugal last week and this week. So yeah, I think I'll be very hopeful for this weekend. I'll be very interested to see. Obviously, I'd like to see Dev do great, but like as I said, from a work on, I suppose they need to find another line of call, but it's probably not the game to start toying with that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think England is ever experimentation time.
No.
Donnacha, thanks a million for coming in. Great to catch up, and best luck for the rest of the season.
Sure, thanks.
Nice one, Donnacha. Great stuff.